Hi folks, here's a quick start beginner's guide for MachiaVillain, now out on Steam. This is for folks who might want a bit of expansion upon the not great in-game tutorial type tips. I also want to make you start thinking about strategy from the very start, so hopefully it'll all become a bit clearer. And do remember to check out my Let's Plays of this game afterwards, the links are in the description. Choosing your minions. As usual in these games, starting with the right mixture of skills is crucial. The first things you'll really be doing is chopping and building, so it's a good idea to pick minions who have good chopping skills, and also building skills as well. You'll soon be needing also good people who are good at like home office and kitchen jobs. This lad over here is good at both, which is rather nice, so I tend towards picking people with these skills to start with. The other ones, such as things like firefighting, refilling, and workshoppery, that can wait. You'll be hiring more minions later on. The other main thing to consider is what they actually eat. If you get 3 lads who all eat brains, you're going to run out of your original stockpile of food very quickly, so it's a good idea to try, if you can, to make it a mixture of brains and meat. There's no skellies here, so we don't have to worry about bones. But I'd pick, for instance, Howard, because he's got quite a few skills over here. And then possibly... I see, the problem is Howard eats brains, and Miranda and Todd also eat brains. So I might go for Miranda, because she's got building and chopping. Then I might miss out on Todd, even though he's got good chopping, and maybe go for someone with medium skills elsewhere, also eating meat. And there's my team. Assigning them work. Okay, so we've been dumped on the map, and they won't do anything unless we explicitly order them to. If you want to get them chopping down trees, not only do you have to assign them trees to actually chop down, but you also need to actually tell them to do particular jobs in the job screen. So let's have a look. We did choose Miranda, who was good at chopping, so let's get her doing that. So I select that, and automatically she goes and actually does the job, which is very good of her. It's a good idea to start with as well as just to assign them all to chopping, because they're not doing anything else at the moment, otherwise they're just standing around. So we'll do that, we'll assign that to all of them, and all will be good. This is a priorities system, priority high on the left, priority low on the right. You can drag and drop like this if you want to, for instance, get mining right at the top. And you might want to assign more than one job to them. In fact, that's pretty much the point of things. But you will notice they can only do a certain amount of jobs each. This lad, Miranda, can only do 3. Howard and Pat can do 4. Do be careful about assigning too much, because at this rate, Howard would never ever do the kitchen job, because other things would take priority. So, absorb this screen well, my son. Now you'll see here that they are trying to chop down some of these evil trees as well as some of the normal trees. You can do that, but it will injure them. The evil trees fight back. That's something that you should wait until later once you've done some research. Now it's worth pointing out, you can control these lads directly by clicking on them, left click, and then right clicking on them to move around the map. So you can have a bit of a look to see what's what on the rest of the map. And you can do that for all of them, scattering them around somewhat. But you can also use this to actually get them doing specific jobs. So if we just now take off them doing the wood chopping, and let's just assign those to be chopped down. Oh dear, the evil trees are fighting back. So nobody's going to do any chopping, but what we can do is, even if they're not assigned to the job, you can click on them, then right click, choose cut this tree first, and they'll prioritise that. As I say, he's not even assigned to chopping at the moment, but it'll do that anyway, which is very good of him. Building for the future. So, you do actually need to find a good space to actually settle down to build your mansion. It's best to find a place which is as clear as possible. This map ain't particularly clear, it's very treey. So I'll just get rid of some more of these for them to chop down, make sure that they're actually allocated with the chopping job. And also, whilst I'm here, make sure that someone does some building as well. I think that Miranda is the perfect lad for the early game here. So in MachiaVillain, a room is created by surrounding some floor with a wall, with some walls and a door, which sounds quite straightforward. So here, if in the construction, rooms and walls. And do around there, round there, and round there. So as well as the walls, you'll need a floor, like that. And also a door, obviously, otherwise they can't get in. They're already building stuff. And now in MachiaVillain, if you want to place furniture down, and that includes storage bins, you actually have to have a floor there first. But you don't actually need to actually have them lay the floor first. You can actually just put the plan down, and then you can actually start putting in furniture, like so. There we go, a nice little desk. But if you see, like, if you try to put down, say, a storage bin for materials, it won't let you do it unless there's actually a floor there. Okay, they've now built a home office. It only knows that it's a room once all the walls and floor have been laid, and it'll designate the room depending on what furniture you've placed in it. Because I've placed in a writing desk from the home office tab, which is there, it knows that it's going to be a home office and labels it accordingly. One of your first goals in the game is to build 2 complete rooms. Build 2 closed rooms. I built 1 of 2 so far. And also survive 3 days, but that's pretty much a given. And so do remember that that will only trigger once everything's absolutely complete. So generally the first rooms that you actually build are the home office, because we want to attract victims quite early on. And we'll also want to build a bedroom, so let's actually get some bedroom beds down. Place down a few beds. And also a kitchen to turn dead victims into food. So in the kitchen we'll choose a butcher's table, which we'll place auto-rotate there. And if we're feeling particularly grand, we could put up a table and chair for them to eat at. But that's just a question of happiness, so we're not going to worry about that just yet. Okay, so we've almost built our bedroom, kitchen and home office. Because we've now got 2 closed rooms, I've now been promoted to rank 1, which unlocks the first slot up here. And also we get a new minion. But yeah, always remember to build for the future, though. Your first game, you might just throw up a mansion wherever, but when you actually get into the game, you'll realise that you will need sort of like a rooms at the very front near the road that are really glamorous and happy and inviting for your victims, which we'll come on to next. Because if they don't like what they see, they'll run off before you get a chance to kill them. Minions need food, badly. So you should treat the pursuit of food as your highest priority in this game. Your starting stockpile, 35, 27 and 63 at the moment, will only last for as many days as it says in the top right hand corner. In this case, 3 days. Bloody hell. So to get more food, you need victims to kill. To start luring them in, first of all you actually need to build your home office with a little writing desk right here. So we'll need to actually assign someone to that job of writing letters. So, Kathy, the vampire, is idle, so we'll select home office, so she'll just do letter writing jobs only. And so we've assigned her, and now we need to set up the actual letter writing bill. So click on the envelope, choose, we'll maintain this quantity in stockpile, let's go for 10. So they'll keep on doing that until there's 10, and as soon as it gets below 10 again, they'll start making it again. So let's make it, and she will start writing letters. And to write a letter, it does actually cost gold and wood. So as you can see now, our vampire, now safely indoors, is starting to write letters. Unfortunately, at the moment, our gold stockpile is right out in the sun, so she's having to keep on going back for it. If I was sensible, what I'd do is set up a gold store, so in any room, and gold storage, and I'll put a gold storage thing there. Whilst these letters have been written, we also need an advertising campaign, so let's see. All we need to do now is attract a couple of basic victims at the cost of 5 letters. So let's select that as an advertising campaign. There we go. We don't need to worry about too much about this. As long as we know that 2 victims are going to turn up and we can kill them, that's the main thing. And as soon as there's 5 letters written, someone will go to the postbox, post the letters, and then eventually some victims will turn up, and then we can kill them. Now this is a bit more like it. Because the gold and the wood are right next to her, she doesn't have to go far at all to get it. She can carry on writing those letters. And we'll almost have 5 very shortly. And it is worth pointing out that we don't need to attract too many victims now, and because if we kill loads of people and process them all the food that we get from that will rot after a couple of days, and it will all have been a bit worthless. There will be blood. So our vampire is now taking those letters, those 5 letters, to the postbox. However, and I already did send some earlier as well, so victims are now coming, so we've got this little message that in an hour's time, an hour's in-game time, we'll actually get some victims. So there will be combat! Hooray! So yeah, victims will generally enter your mansion from the door closest to the road. You can influence that later with like fancy doors and things like that. So combat in MachiaVillain has some complexity with skill trees, special abilities and the like. Have a look at their skill points. But yeah, to start with, when your victims just come in dribs and drabs, don't worry about it too much. You can just get stuck in. And so now we know that we're approaching, we're going to force everyone to down tools instantly. You can either click up here, stop all the minion activity and enter attack mode, or just press the letter K. Look, they've all stopped. Now I'm going to press Ctrl and A to select everyone, and I'm going to place all these lads in the home office just there. And I'm going to wait for them to all turn up. Now, they almost certainly will come in through this door here. There's a problem. We've got actually building work over here, and victims don't like seeing building work. But anyway, so hopefully... come on, lad. Oh, here we go. The minions have just turned... the victims have just turned up. You won't be able to see victims unless they're in line of sight of you, or the mansion. You can actually influence that later with a watchtower. But anyway, now we've actually got everyone... ready and waiting in the home office, and we've got our 2 victims. Again, I'm going to make sure that I've got everyone selected. Right click on one of the victims and attack. So let's just get a bit close up. They'll make very short work of them, and then do the same to the other guy. And we've already killed them all, and everything is groovy. So later on, there's a bit more complexity. You'll want to split them up and all sorts of things. But for now, just do full frontal assaults. Now I've killed everyone, and we can press the shortcut of J, or you can press the blue spanner thing at the top, and that'll get them to all resume what they were doing before. Now, if you've already built a kitchen, which you should have done, and built a little butcher's block, now anyone assigned to the kitchen role will go and chop up those bodies. Those body parts, which are here, will actually rot quite quickly in 14 hours, so we have to work fast. So go to the job screen. Let's see, who's good at kitchen work? Well, Howard. So we'll take him off that, so he's only doing kitchen work now. What I could do is actually move the kitchen stuff up to the top, which is actually quite a good idea, because that's an occasional but crucial job. And we'll let him do some building when he's not doing that. And maybe some storing resources as well. So, we should actually get one of our lads now. I think it was Howard. Yes, he's got a little chef icon just up there. Howard should now go and chop up stuff. Right, so Howard is now grabbing body parts and taking them to the butcher's block up here. And he'll turn them into brains, blood, and meat. Now, unsmoked brains, blood, and meat, i.e. unprocessed stuff, will actually rot after 2 days. So it'll be short-term food. Later on, once you've built a research lab, you can research a smoker, which will allow you to preserve your food indefinitely, which is one of the earlier things that you should actually get around to researching. Another thing you need to do once you actually killed some lads is make sure that you mop up the blood that the victims have left behind. If you don't, the victims will turn up, see the blood, get suspicious, and then run off. So make sure that you have people assigned to the maintenance job. Let's give this to, I think, Pat, and we'll take her off building and chopping. So she'll do maintenance by priority and store resources. This isn't perfectly assigned, but it'll do for now. As you can see, she's already mopping up all the blood, and she'll do that there, she'll do that there, and she'll hopefully do that in there as well. There's a lot of blood there. Now, one major thing you should be aware of is when you're mopping up blood, is that you should also mop up blood outside the mansion, but it doesn't automatically assign an area to do that. So go into your area, choose plus broom, which will add to blood cleaning area, and just kind of paint on an area outside the mansion where there actually might be blood. So they will make sure that they also mop that up as well. And meanwhile, I've actually been summoned to the League of MachiaVillain Villains, and this is just something that you'll come across at some point. And don't worry about it, it's just a plot point. Okay, so that'll be your first 30 minutes in the game, all sorted. And next I'm building a laboratory here, which I'm going to research new stuff using the research tool. I'll go for a demonic axe and a preserver as my first order of business. Up here, I'm going to build a factory where I'll be able to process kind of like crafting materials such as steel plates and log planks, which will be good for slightly later game equipment and stuff like that. And that's all going to be all lovely and particularly evil. One final point I should quickly make is that if you want to actually unlock further slots and hire more people, you will actually need to get to know the crypt screen. Every time you kill some victims, you will actually get Evilium. We've currently got 20. And you can exchange that in the crypt for various things, such as unlocking types of minion to hire, an extra free slot here, and also advertise for new minions. So yeah, worth getting to know the screen. And as usual, there's a million more things I could say, but I'm going to try and keep this video as short as possible. I do pay attention to the rules to actually get Evilium, by the way. But to start with, really don't worry about it too much. You must kill them all is pretty much the only thing that you really need to worry about. Kill them only when they're alone, encourage you to separate out the victims. But again, that's more of a later sort of thing. So if you did like this video, do subscribe, and also check out my Let's Plays on MachiaVillain for lots of blood-curdling gameplay. I've done a series on the pre-release alpha, and I'm currently doing one on the full release, which isn't a hugely different game, to be honest. Also, please support me on Patreon if you want to help me keep on bringing you the best indie games around. So far, Patreon money has got us more big new games, better recording equipment, and better internet speeds for reliable streaming, which is very nice. You'll also unlock bonus videos at the second support tier, including behind-the-scenes stuff, stuff too weird for the main channel, extra Starbound, and more. Anyway, see you next time.